I've always found it so difficult and so scary speaking up in group situations. There'd be more than five people in a social situation, and I'd just be so terrified. I just couldn't get the words out. I'd be overthinking. I'd just be anxious. I'd be worried about what they're going to think, their perception. I'd just be worried and I couldn't do anything. I couldn't think. I'd just be terrified. And that was when it was just like, why is it so easy for everyone else to interact? And then it's just like, for me, it's just, nah, nah, it's not for you. You're just a failure. And it's just like all these thoughts are just like ruminating and it's just absolutely awful. That was how it's always been for me up until 6 months to 12 months ago, where this was literally yesterday. I was in my Brazilian Jiu Jitsu class, and we all take turns speaking and saying stuff in a circle of like 20 people. Normally, to me, that would be absolutely terrifying. I'd be like, there'd be like three people before me, and I'd be worrying, what are they going to think? What am I going to say? Oh, crap. I'd just be so scared and anxious of what to do. I'd be coming up with like the most perfect thing to say, word by word. And then yesterday, before we even got started, we were sitting around the group still, and it's like no one was saying anything, and I just made like a little comment in front of everyone. Oh, everyone's quiet, and it's just like, yeah, I'd be so scared. I wouldn't be able to speak off the cuff like that. And then when we actually got to speaking around in the circle, I wasn't worried. I wasn't anxious. I was just like, I didn't even think of what I'm gonna say. I literally, it got to my next turn, and I was like, and then I just spoke. There was no anxiety, no shit in the body. I was just present. I was just allowed to exist. I was allowed to speak, and I wasn't worried about, hold on, if I say this wrong thing, they're going to perceive me in this way, and I'm going to be a failure. Like, you get the advice of not caring what people think. That's a lot harder embodied and actually lived than just like knowing up there, hey, you know what? I shouldn't care what people think. That sounds like a good thing to like believe. I don't want to have my life ruled by other people. Yeah? But then you actually come down to the social situation. There's 20 people, there's 10 people, and you actually need to speak. Is a lot different in actually embodying it and living it than consciously being like knowing it logically. So, yeah, we're going to fix the problem and allow you to do that transformation that I made so that you can actually do it. We're going to start off with nervous system safety. What is nervous system safety? That is telling your nervous system and actually not being in a constant state of fight or flight. It's like when you're in that group situation, your body is in that fight or flight. It's sending signals everywhere that you're terrified, that you're basically being attacked by, like, imagine going back thousands of years in an evolutionary stance. It's the same thing as death, as a lion attacking you. It's like the same feelings of, I don't want to do that. I'm going to die if I do that. We need to treat and basically condition your nervous system so that it sees that situation as not terrifying, that it can exist, it's fine. And that is only done through continual work that I'll get into in a second. You can't just go in with the logic, hey, you know what, I don't care what people think of me. One thing up here, another thing down here. Your body doesn't always agree with what's going on up there. So, the first and main thing I'd recommend is some sort of meditation or breathwork practice. You need a practice to basically regulate your nervous system. See what I said here? You need to regulate your nervous system. You can't just constantly be in a reactive stance, just reacting to the world. Something happens and then your body just sends you signals, feelings, emotions, and then that happens. The typical, like, what people experience in a reactive manner is they have an external event, like you interact with someone, and then they instantly feel a certain emotion. He felt, and then so you have the external event, the interaction with whatever, then yet the emotion is felt in the body, and then you instantly react automatically, unconsciously. Basically, your body is telling you you must react in this way due to this emotion. How I have it now is external event. And then, so basically, we have the external event. This is how my life actually, my reality actually manifests to me now. This isn't theory. This isn't airy fairy. This is genuinely how my reality manifests to me. So there's the external event, then there's the emotion. So whatever happens, the emotion comes up in the body. You can't disagree or remove that. It's going to happen. But you can actually observe the emotion. You can take a step back and watch the emotion. I'll give you an example right now of like how awareness works. Your big toe, your feet, your breath. What are you thinking about? When you bring awareness, you can basically like see that thing in front of you. You can basically observe it. It's not happening to you, you're observing it happen. This is a big paradigm shift that you have to actually embody. There's a difference between the emotions arising and then it just like consumes you versus the emotions arising, you observe the emotions and then you consciously choose how to react. And it all happens at like such a subconscious quick speed. Like you're not consciously thinking, I'm terrified. It just body happens. It just happens to the body. So anyway, and then at this point, I'm not perfect at doing this. I'm still a work in progress. But what you're meant to do is feel the emotion fully and let it pass. It doesn't consume your body, stay there for multiple seconds. It's meant to just pass, like you're watching some clouds pass by. They just pass by. They're not stuck. They don't just like stay in the same spot. And then you consciously choose your actions. You're not ran on this unconscious reactive loop. How does this pertain to group situations and speaking up and social anxiety and all this stuff? Because if you act reactively when you're trying to speak, your body is going to feel terrified and you're not going to be able to think properly, say what you want to say, act from a place of safety. But if you act from this, you're not like, you're still feeling the fear, but it doesn't control you, it doesn't consume you. Knowing this is very important, but we have to actually embody this. Again, knowing it up here is different from knowing it down in the actual body. So there's two things that you can do. There is some sort of regulate your nervous system, some sort of way to regulate your nervous system. That's different for a lot of people. Some people can, honestly, they don't need it. They don't need to. Some people regulate it through exercise or yoga. Some people do it through breath work. Some people do it through meditation. I have done it specifically with meditation and breath work, so that's what I'm going to talk about. I will have specific videos done on how to meditate, why you meditate, and all of the details that you'll need to know in order to get started on this. So, but quickly, meditation is being present with the moment, not allowing external stimuli to consume you, and just practicing being, practicing watching and observing. This loop here, observing the emotion. You don't just wake up one day being able to observe. No, you practice it. That is what meditation is for. You don't just go to the gym and then expect to bench 140 kilos. You work up by benching the lighter weight. It's sort of the same with meditation, in the way that you start with 3 minutes, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 20 minutes. You don't just start trying to go for an hour and expecting you to be able to actually do that. So you need to practice observing. This is how you can actually embody this part. And breathwork undoes specific trauma patterns and allows your nervous system to feel that sense of safety. And doing this over and over actually allows your nervous system to realize that it's safe. The breath is extremely powerful and can be used to regulate your nervous system, so that there's a little bit of a gap between the trauma and all of that stuff from coming up, the fear. And then, as I said at the start, how I'm in my Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu class, it's just like that. Even if that negative emotions, all of that fear came up, I still wouldn't be controlled controlled by it. That's because of these two practices. And on top of that, exposure done right. People give the advice of like when cold approaching girls, just go up, just go cold approach, just do it, just take action. And then your body will learn over time that it's safe to do it. Yes, but not really. Because if you do it in a specific way, your nervous system still remains the same. Funny thing about this is I did like 50 cold approaches before I learned some of this shit, and it still terrified me. The exposure therapy didn't work. And to do it right, before I would always like nowadays I cold approach, I spend like a few minutes internally just sitting there, focusing on my breath. I'm safe. We're okay. Nothing is on the line. This will come into handy what I'm talking about right now. But just keep this in mind. I'm spending a few minutes in the body, doing the breath, feeling in, and it's not like, actually, a point of this that you might be thinking, this is cringe as hell. I just want to go cold approach. I just want to blah, 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 blah. But how does your nervous system actually know that it's safe? By planning, this is what I specifically did. So I would have the cold approach session like planned, what I'm going to do. Then right before, I'll spend a few minutes in the body, breathing, focusing on my awareness, telling myself that I'm safe regardless of what happens. And then I'd be in the situation, let everything just happen. And then right after, I would sit down again, come back to the body, tell myself that we're okay, feel the emotions, and actually process them. Hold up, my body's feeling terrified. Okay, let's feel in, let's look at it, be aware. And at that point, your body will basically recognize that a cold approach isn't scary. Do this 5, 10, 20 times, and your nervous system will just naturally, without doing the process at the start and the end, just naturally going to be fine. And this is taking a while, so I'm going to try and be a bit quicker. Should statements. They're a fun little thing we have. So we have little rules that govern how we should act in certain situations. And these rules, you might think this is like airy fairy, doesn't exist, but you genuinely have rules that your nervous system is unconsciously listening to. Like, the only way that you can actually understand this fully is by noticing it in yourself. I can tell you everything, but until you take action and place what I'm saying into your own existence, find evidence in your own life of this being true, that's when you can get to the next level of understanding all this stuff. So anyway, we have rules. For me personally, my biggest rule was I'd go into a social situation and I was like, I can't be anxious. I can't be shy. Because to me, appearing anxious or shy was like not masculine. It's like not who I want to be. It's so unattractive to girls. There'd be all these things saying, hold on, if you're anxious or shy, everything that you want is not going to happen. So we create this little rule in our head that we can't be anxious, we can't be shy. But it's so counterintuitive. By having this rule and having all of this like emotional attachment to it, all it does is create tension in the body, in the mind. It's just like you going into a situation. Okay, tell me, who do you think is going to be more freeing and to be able to act more, less inhibited, more authentic? So we have person one. Person one. So we have person one. They go into the situation. They don't have any rules. They genuinely don't care. They don't have, I can't appear a certain way. They have none of that. So there's that person, and then person two, which is me, and I would suspect it to be you. We have, I can't appear X. And all of this tension in the body suggesting, I can't act this way. Oh my God, if I act this way, that's the worst thing that's going to happen. Oh my God, this is terrifying. I can't do that. And it's just like, who do you think is going to be more authentic? The person who genuinely doesn't need to abide by this rule, or the person who can't appear that way? It's like shooting themselves into not being a certain way. There's so much tension on the line that your body just basically says it's fear. Goes back to that survival state. So we need to find out what rules your body is abiding by and letting go. Sure, you don't want to be anxious, but having the rule that I can't be anxious just counterintuitively makes it far harder. And only until I dropped that rule was I able to genuinely not care what people think and genuinely be present, be authentic, and just say shit that came to my mind. Like, the amount of times a joke would appear in my mind, I wanted to say it, and it's just like, nah, you can't say that because they're going to deem you a certain way. I can't do that because I'm going to be blah, 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 blah. All of that crap. No. And then finally, attachment to outcome and hinging your value or your identity on the outcome. This was me in cold approaching to the T. If I failed, if I got rejected, I'm a failure as a human being. I literally have the, like, you know in programming how there's if statements. If this is true, then do this. My nervous system and how I would be is, if I get rejected, I am more of a failure as a man. It's like, bro, what? You're hinging your entire identity and value on the assumption that a girl in 5 to 10 to 20 seconds, a few minutes, rejects you. When there's so many different factors that come into play that are outside of your value. It's mad that I used to run like this. So we need to not attach, like in that group situation that I was talking about, I didn't care that, or I didn't have the outcome that everyone there needed to like me. I didn't need anything from them. There's another point. That's a very strong point that I just noted. It's like I didn't need them to all like me. And by saying what I'm going to say, that isn't going to cause people to like or distrust or hate me, or I'm going to be rejected by the group. This is when, like, that exposure done right before and right after you get into social situations, you can sit there for a minute and tell yourself, really get this into your head. My identity, my value as a human being isn't being tested. I'm okay regardless of what happens. You can just sit there and tell yourself these things. Tell yourself that after. And then soon, by doing this repeatedly, it teaches your nervous system that, hold on, my value isn't on the line of this 5-second interaction. So, yeah. And then finally, it's realizing that we're whole and we don't need anything. We are already whole as we are right now. This is more of a spiritual and just a belief that I have, that we can have value inherently as we are, just for existing. That you don't need all of this validation and you don't need everything to exist. Like, I used to need people's validation to be proud, to be happy, to be liked, to feel all these emotions. I'd need it. Right now, I go into those situations, I approach girls, but I don't need anything from them. My value isn't on the line. I'm already enough. And you have to realize that you're enough as you are. Just by existing. Your value isn't on the line. You have inherent, this is what I believe, you have inherent value as a human being. And that value isn't to be questioned or dictated by the external world. What happens out there, it doesn't matter. I'm still valued. I'm still a human being. I'm still okay. I'm still safe. And yeah, just realizing this. You're okay. Telling yourself that during these breathwork practices, during the meditation, before and after interacting with people, that's how you can actually teach your nervous system, teach yourself that you're okay. And by doing all this, you're going to condition your entire nervous system to react in a new way. And trust me, when you actually do this, it's beautiful. Being able to act in a situation as you are without all of these rules and just crap everywhere. You can just exist, bro. Your value isn't on the line. Your love, your safety, nothing's attacking you or on the line. This is how we're meant to live. not reactive, not unconsciously, none of that. No. So yeah, I hope you appreciate the video. I hope you take action and can start implementing all of what I'm saying. And subscribe to my channel. I'm going to be making more content based in this avenue. So please, yeah, like, sub, helps me out. Take care of yourself, mate.